everyone, welcome back to Design Sounds, your favorite creative hub with your favorite host, Joy Man. And today we're going to be going a little techie and we're going to be talking about the best programs for creatives and for business owners, and how if you are a creative and a business owner, how we can combine them and just make beautiful magic. Now, personally, because I am a creative, I always recommend Adobe Creative Cloud. That is just 10 out of 10, and we are going to be going over 5 different programs from them and things that you can use to supplement them. I'm actually extremely excited about this video because I am a tech nerd. I love just all things tech. First, which most people know about, is Photoshop. Photoshop is probably the easiest thing to learn. It's probably the most useful one to learn. Well, we'll see. It depends what you need it for, but Photoshop, you can cut people out of images. They recently got AI generation, so you can go ahead and fill in backgrounds. You can change the color of my shirt in a photo. You can create GIFs. You can create entire different worlds. You can edit things, you can change the lighting, you can do so many different things in Photoshop. It's such a great tool to use, but I will say, unless you are a business owner who is doing all your own content, if you're outsourcing your content, I don't think you need that. Stick to like Canva or Picmoney. I love Picmoney. I know people like Canva better because it's an easier sharing site to share with other people, but just like Photoshop, you can't share it with other people. So I recommend Picmoney because I do think they give you a lot more variety and it's a lot more user friendly. So go check out Picmoney. I think it might be $5.99 a month. Canva obviously is free unless you pay for their next level subscription, their premium subscription. But I think those are all really good programs that you should check out. So if you are really into creating, you want to do your own photo shoots, you want to do all that type of stuff, go ahead and get you some Photoshop, okay? And I'll talk about how all of them, you can buy the whole Adobe Creative Cloud suite. So all the applications for about $500 a year, which I think is great. The one that I love the most, that I probably use the most, that allows me to, as a creative, to maneuver in so many different directions outside of like imaging, like photographs, and use vector. Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. That is honestly my favorite application. That is the application I use the most. And it's probably Photoshop after that. But Illustrator is my #1 thing because I create all my own assets. Instead of finding a circle online, I draw a circle and I, export it into Photoshop. Well, I literally can copy and paste it into Photoshop. So they work really good together. And I think that's something that that I think Adobe's really good for, is that you can work everything in and integrate them together, which I think is such a great an easy way to kind of get these creative things done. And so I always recommend Illustrator. Illustrator, you can create anything. You can turn a circle into a blob. You can create stars. You can create gradient patterns. They're such like a basic thing, I guess, but it's so important. It's so great. And even if you don't want to get Illustrator, I recommend Creative Market. I think it's a great application for assets, especially if you're not someone who's into digitally drawing like I am. I think it's such a great application to use. And also Illustrator works a lot with pixels, and so it's easy to move around little parts and create things into bigger things. So it never loses its resolution. So you can make it as big as you want, you can make it as small as you want, and it'll always be clear because they're vectorized pixels. The supplement for that is Procreate. So I use Procreate on my iPad actually, and it's really easy to use, but it's more of a drawing application, and you can outline images and you can also create GIFs like you could in Photoshop. And so I think it kind of caters to 2 things, and that is After Effects. After Effects is for animations, in which Procreate is also really good at, and animations are, there's photographs, there's GIFs, and then there's animations that you can create. And so those are kind of the 3 spectrums: photos to, really quick loops of videos, to an animation. And I think Procreate, you can do that, but you have to create every little moment, like a, what is that called? Like you have to picture every movement. So if I'm creating a wave, I have to draw my hand like this. I have to draw my hand like this, or I can move it probably, but you know, you have to create, and then when it goes like this, I have to create a new one. Then when it goes like this, I have to create a new one. Then when it goes back up like this, create a new one. Then, you know, you have to create all those little sectors, whereas in After Effects, it's a lot easier, and it's also a bigger application, and it's also a part of the Adobe suite. That's why I think it's so good. Create such amazing scenes, and you guys will see I'll insert one of my favorite things I've done in After Effects. After Effects is something I'm personally still learning, but there are so many amazing things that you can do in After Effects, and it falls so much into motion media, and that's something that a skill I'm trying to hone in better on, but I'm getting really good at it. It's great for like transitions and turning, you know, your art into live art. And so I take a lot of my Illustrator things and put them into After Effects. And that's why I love Illustrator, because I can put it into Photoshop, I can put it into After Effects, I can put it in any application, and I can create so much more with it, and love Illustrator. But yes, Procreate I feel like is you know, the middle ground between GIFs and between doing the animations, and After Effects is, you can do GIFs and stuff, but I think it's more for these big projects. You know, it might be something that takes longer than a minute. I personally wouldn't do anything longer than like 45 seconds in Procreate, especially because you're recreating every little motion. So it's a lot different, and I'll put up examples for you guys throughout this whole video because I know it's a lot. Next is InDesign. So InDesign is an application for like creating books, for creating page layouts, for creating magazines, or things in that way. Usually things that are going to get published, or you can create a lot of documents. You can use it like Word if you wanted to, but what I love about InDesign is that you don't have to keep recreating things. You can save things as a layout. For example, this is actually one of the books I made. So you can create things as a layout. So this layout is repeated on other pages, but I didn't have to recreate it. I just had to go back in and do the layout. So this is an example of something I have done in InDesign. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an example of that. Now, a lot of people who make smaller who aren't as, I guess, big in this aspect of learning how to do books or layouts and stuff like that, Canva is a really good option because you can duplicate the pages and not just the layouts, and you can go ahead and insert in similar ways as InDesign, but it's also a lot more user-friendly, and I recommend that for like business owners. But creatives, I would definitely recommend InDesign, and I think it is an easy to use app, especially if you figured out Illustrator and Photoshop. And so that's why I really recommend Adobe Creative Suite for creatives, but also for business owners. And I know it's so much to learn, but if you guys put so much love into this video, I will go ahead and make a tutorial for each and every single one of the 5. Now, moving on to Premiere Pro. I love Premiere Pro. I'm actually editing this video on Premiere Pro. It does a great job of color grading, in my opinion. It does a great job of just uploading your video in the highest quality, because my videos do go up to 4K because of the camera that I use. They have so many assets that you can add to it, so many editing and kind of, what is it called? Yeah, you can add like... Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. So many transitions, that's the word. You have so many different transitions. You can buy transitions from like other smaller businesses that I do a lot. I find like different YouTube tutorials, and I find they kind of help me with that stuff. And I guess some people compare it to like Final Cut Pro. I personally, like I said, I have an Adobe suite, but I'm saying things that I've used before. I'm trying to show you how these things like fall into each other. And Final Cut Pro is great. I think it covers the basic, and I think it's a great thing for business owners, and I recommend it to business owners, but it's only offered on Apple, and so that's what makes it hard. But I do think Premiere Pro, if you're really into video editing, if you're, you know, starting a YouTube and things like that. It's great. I also do my TikToks, I do my Instagram videos, I do all of it through there. And I think it's a really great platform. You just have to figure out what's gonna work best for you. And that's kind of like my purpose of this video, that I'm giving you different programs that you can work on and the things that I'm currently using. And I can go into more depth, but I really just want to give you guys a soft outline because I know it could be so much information. Like design sounds. I'm making a lot of sounds. I'm just hoping y'all hear me, okay? I'm trying to make it as basic as possible, but all these are great for your social media, for your bigger projects. I'm currently working on a film. That's what I use Premiere Pro for. I'm currently working on illustrations, and I'm using Illustrator for it when I do my photo shoots, and I'm trying to like create a whole different scenario in the background, like I did for my graduation shoot. I'll insert it. I use Photoshop for that, and I, you know, was able to put myself in an entirely different environment. Things like InDesign, I showed you guys that book. You know, these are all great programs and things to use, and there's so many supplemental things to use for it, but I definitely do recommend Adobe Creative Suite because I do think it is something that you can grow into, you know? Even if your skill set stops here, there's always so much more that it can offer you when you need it. Whereas other programs, you might have to totally switch programs to just receive what you need. And I don't think that's fun. I don't really think, like, having more accounts really doesn't do anything for you. Now, people who use things like Cut for TikTok and stuff like that, I guess from a marketing standpoint, it's great. And if you're not trying to get too into depth to things, I think that's a perfect start and a perfect solution. And I don't think everybody has to like start at the highest end and start at the highest quality. And that's why I gave you like $5 versions in Canva, which is free, and Procreate, which is also free. But I think it might be $7, $8 on online, and I have my iPad and my Apple Pencil, and I use that. So there are so many different ways to get around this and not be a professional, but have professional looking things and professional equipment. And so I wanted to give you guys options, but also show that I've used it, I know it, and I also know what I use now. So I'm trying to give you options for business owners and creatives. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave any comments, questions, and also check out my consults. And what you can put it under is the creative to creative consult. And what you can do there is ask me questions about these programs. And it is about 30 minute, it's either 30 or 45-minute session, and we'll go ahead and we can log into Photoshop and I can show you the different things if you want to learn something. There are so many different ways, but it's Galleria Untitled/book, and you'll be able to get a consult for me. And for a free one, you're just gonna go ahead and type in free, and we'll go ahead and make it free when you see this video. So please come and check out these applications, check me out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching Design Signs. Let's make some noise for the creativity. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye.